Today I am in the studio, Robert Lang's studio in Seattle to be exact. And the reason I'm here is I am tracking a couple of really special snare drums. And I'm gonna talk about this one, but you definitely wanna know about this one as well. So check out the other video about this snare. This right here is a Black Beauty. And if you know me, you know I'm a huge Black Beauty fan. And this is a really, really special one. I borrowed this snare from Don Bennett, who might have at least the most impressive, if not the largest collection of vintage and celebrity drums out of anyone on the planet. Seems like every drum owned by a famous drummer has passed through his hands at some point. And this one is no exception. This is either a 1979 or 1980 Ludwig Black Beauty. It is engraved and also has the super sensitive wire system on it. This drum has quite the pedigree. It was owned originally by Rick Allen of Def Leppard and in fact has recorded multiple Def Leppard albums. And as a matter of fact, in addition to that, this was borrowed by none other than Lars Ulrich to record Master of Puppets by Metallica. The story goes that Metallica was in the studio and Lars wasn't happy with his snare tone. Go figure. And so he called up his buddy, Rick Allen, and asked if he could borrow this Black Beauty, and it was in the mail the next day. So this is a snare that you hear on that album, and I'm just like blown away that I'm sitting here behind it. The reason I borrowed it today is so I could just tell you a little bit of the story behind it and also sort of let you experience it with me. I want you, of course, to hear what it sounds like in this room. And then I'm also going to make a sample pack out of it. So before I talk anymore, let you just hear the drum, and then I'll tell you about the recording setup and how you can get your hands on this sound. Okay, so that's how it sounds in this room, and if I could just speak off the cuff for a second, I brought this snare into my drum room. You know that I'm a Black Beauty fan, that I have a Black Beauty of my own, that I'm a big fan of, and I sort of expected them to be the same, and I hate to admit it, but there is something special about this drum. This drum just sounds absolutely amazing. It sounded great in my room. It sounds unbelievable in this room. Hopefully you agree, you just heard it. But again, let me tell you about the recording setup we've got going on here and tell you what you'll be getting if you want to get the sample pack. When I knew I was gonna be recording a snare with this much rock and roll history behind it, I wanted to make sure that I was in a studio with just as much history. And Robert Lang absolutely fits the bill. Some artists that have recorded here include Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Foo Fighters, Death Cab for Cutie, Macklemore, Queensryche, Soundgarden, Peter Frampton, Lil Wayne, The Blood Brothers, Candlebox, and Bush. So we're going all out with mics. I've got two snare top mics. I've got a 57 and a 441. I've got an RE20 as a snare bottom. I've got a Royer R121 right in front of the shell. I've got stereo overheads, Neumann U87s. I've got a vintage AKG 414 EB as a center overhead. I've got two over-the-shoulder mics, my favorites, Coles 4038s. I've got two more 414s as far room stereo mics. And then finally, I've got a U67 up high, capturing the overall sound of the room. I just finished recording samples and I've got 3 different tunings, low, medium, and high. And then I've got 4 different dynamic levels for each tuning. So ghost note, medium dynamic, high, and then rim shot. And then what I'm also going to do is give you access not only to mixed and unmixed samples, I'm gonna give you access to the entire session or all of the stems. So if you want to do your own mix with all of these mics, you will have access to them. So there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed spending a little bit of time with me in this snare. I'm thoroughly enjoying my time in this studio. And again, if you want this actual drum, it is available, but if that's a little bit out of your price range, then you can check out the samples that I've made. Regardless, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.